di una madre nel vedere il proprio figlio quando muore, nell'attesa del suo greve, non arriverà mai. E lassù accanto a Dio
Welcome to the GCI Conference Center. Please enter your access code. Thank you. Please stand by. If you are the chairperson, press the star key now. Your conference will begin when the chairperson arrives. Please wait. You will now be placed into conference. There are 5 participants in the conference.
Did we get the signature sheet?
Yeah, it's up front.
No, not that one, no.
Oh.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Just in case we need it. Oh, all right, okay, wonderful. Okay. Something. Tape recorder on.
It's not, it's on, but it's not running.
Okay. All right, good morning, everybody. It's closest thing to 9 o'clock. This is the Marijuana Control Board, starting day 2 in Fairbanks. It's, what is today? July something.
11th.
I know. Where's July 5th? I said, no, it's not July 5th. July 11th, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Jaime?
Here.
Mr. Springer?
Yes, here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Milks? Here. Mr. Church?
Here.
And I'm Erica McConnell.
Okay, this is the time we have designated to enter into executive session to consider action on the matter of Nikki Rapana Hemp Fest, Office of Administrative Hearings, number 18-0901-MCB. The board will be acting in its adjudicatory role, and we will be meeting in executive session with the administrative law judge for hopefully not more than 15 minutes. So we'll take a motion to enter into executive session for that purpose.
Mr. Chair, I would move that the Marijuana Control Board go into executive session to meet with the administrative law judge, regarding the fine for Hemp Fest.
Second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Jaime. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we are going to executive session. We'll get the judge on the line. Folks on the phone, we're going to be turning the bridge off. We will be calling back as soon as we're done with our business here. And if everybody in the room could have coffee, by the time you finish a 16-ounce triple, will be done in here.
The chairperson has disconnected. The conference will now end. Welcome to the GCI Conference Center. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound. That entry is not valid. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound sign. Thank you. Please stand by. If you are the chairperson, press the star key now. Your conference will begin when the chairperson arrives. Please wait. You are being placed into conference in listen-only mode. There are 11 participants in the conference.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, we've left executive session. We are still under consideration of proposal for action on the matter of Nikki Rapana, HempFest OAH number 180901 MCB. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I would move that the Marijuana Control Board adopts the decision as final authority under the authority of AS 4.64.060 E1. Judicial review of this decision may be obtained by filing an appeal in the Alaska Superior Court in accordance with AS 44.62.560. within 30 days after the date of distribution of this decision.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? And I guess I'll just briefly review what this was. It was a fine levied against a non-licensee for public consumption of marijuana. And the respondent, Mr. Rapano, requested a hearing which was held on April 26, 2019. The proposed decision issued June 3rd, 2019 concludes that Mr. Rapano violated Alaska Statute 1738040, and she was subject to a fine of $100 for that violation. And the conclusion of the administrative law judge, which we are concurring with, is that Ms. Rapano communicated to HempFest attendees that marijuana consumption could occur in the over 21 area of the festival. Because the over 21 area, despite Ms. Rapano's belief that it was private, was open to the public, persons consuming marijuana in that area violated AS 1738, prohibition of marijuana consumption in public, because Ms. Rapano provided HempFest's attendees a public area within which to consume marijuana. She is legally liable for consumption under AS 1116-100 through 110. The board is therefore allowed to fine her up to $100, the maximum fine allowable for a violation of AS 1738-040. And the recommendation of the judge is that given the broad scope of the violation, the maximum fine is advisable and should be upheld. And so that's that's the decision that's on the table. So with that, we'll vote. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So the matter of Nikki Rapana HempFest OAH number 180901 MCB, with that decision, this matter is concluded. And we will move on to, okay, what did we decide about Alaska Leaf?
You tabled it to September.
Tabled them, okay. So now we are on to on-site consumption endorsement applications, license 18187 Fairbanks Cut LLC. Fairbanks Cut LLC here.
Mr. Chair, for those
Yes,
listening at home, could you just reference the tab number, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, absolutely. That's tab 20 on the agenda. Do we have a motion on this application?
Motion to approve license 18187 Fairbanks Cut.
Okay, is there a second?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I could just clarify, so the license is approved. This would be to approve the on-site consumption endorsement
I
to
did
this
get finished, had
license.
the coffee.
Sorry.
For their on-site consumption endorsement.
And is there a second for the motion? Second. Okay, seconded by Mr. Jaime. So go ahead and introduce yourselves to us and tell us what you're all about.
My name is Lily Bossart. I'm the licensee on Dankridge and on the Fairbanks Cut.
My name is Craig Aguiletti. I'm the co-owner of Dankridge and Fairbanks Cut.
Okay. We can make your computer up if you wanna. Make that yes. So this is for Fairbanks Cut. Where's Fairbanks Cut at?
It's on Bentley Trust Road, so it's right behind Bentley Mall, in that empty tract of land between Bentley Mall and we're there, and then back on the back is Lowe's and another shopping center.
How long have you been in there?
We opened in April.
Okay. How's business?
Okay.
If is that Bentley Trust property that you're on? Or,
As in owned by Bentley, the Bentley
the
Trust?
land that you're on, yeah.
No, sir. It's owned by the building owner, G2 Construction.
Okay. And your, actually the patient here, your lease, I apologize. I'm trying to get to. All right, okay, there we go. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So your lease is what, anything allowable, is that what it says?
It's been amended to include on-site, so it's, our retail and, on-site, if we were to be granted the endorsement, has been added to the lease.
Because tell us generally what your thoughts are about, the on-site operation as I get to the premises diagram.
It's basically just a smoke area outside. You'd walk inside where we would construct a door on one side of the building. You'd still have to go through our ID check. You would come in and you could make a left turn and go outside into a fenced-in outdoor area.
Is that the green line on here? Okay, so that's what it looks like.
You enter and exit through the store. It's very basic, very simple. It's just a little smoke area outside.
And then they would leave through the store again.
Correct.
You're in the city of Fairbanks.
Yes.
What's the city of Fairbanks' rule on smoking?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that one. So initially, Fairbanks said no to on-site consumption, but a few months ago, they changed their minds. And they said yes, and they didn't, go the route of Anchorage and limit it to edibles or some other nonsense. They just said, yes, we're gonna try it out. So we have our meeting with them in a couple of weeks.
Do they have a smoke-free workplace rule here in Fairbanks?
Not in the same way that Anchorage does, no.
Cab drivers can smoke cigarettes while they're driving in, or?
Fairbanks in general is more lax than anything that I encountered in Anchorage. It's very different, but they let, there's a lot more free choice going on around here.
Yeah, the city, from the very beginning, the city of Fairbanks has been super, super accommodating and welcoming, and they were just very excited that we were coming.
Okay, so in the 10 by 22 area, you're gonna have like, chairs and tables and umbrellas and ashtrays, I would presume. Are you gonna have any ancillary items? You gonna have any dab machines or anything in there?
Nope.
Well, you can't,
Nope,
obviously.
no concentrate.
Obviously, yeah.
No.
No, we're shooting for simplicity here. We realize we're at the front of the line here, and anything complex is gonna muddy the water. So we're trying to do things as simply as possible and make it easy for everyone.
What's your nearest neighbor in there?
349 feet away in front of us is the back end of Costco. And so there's our parking lot, the street of Bentley Trust, the back end where they onload and offload, and then the back end of Costco.
Okay, have you talked to them about any impact on their ventilation systems or anything?
We've given them notice and talked to everyone, given notice to everyone
Right.
around. We're so far away from them. I can imagine that it wouldn't, I don't imagine that it would impact them at all. And then it's just empty fields on either side of us.
Okay. Anybody else, any questions for the applicant?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
In the director's memo, she's arguing that this building is not freestanding. It does have a neighbor. If you look at the premises diagram, there's a construction company that's on the other side of one of the walls. I don't know if the directors, if that memo, I'm sure since it's public, you've read it.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any comment on that?
We believe that we meet the definition of freestanding exactly as it stands right now. There's no shared ventilation. We have radiant floor heating. The person that is above us is the office buildings for G2 Construction, who is our landlord. We entered into this building with on-site consumption in mind. We've talked to them about this the entire time. We've built a plan in to be respectful for the occasional person that comes in. It's an office, it's not a retail. So they have the occasional client that comes there, but really it's just the people doing plans that work there. But in order to be respectful of them, we've committed to not having our on-site open during their open hours. So our on-site will only be open from 5 to midnight, Monday through Friday, and then from noon to midnight on the weekends. But they hold construction equipment in the back, and then they have a few offices up top, and that's it. And they own our building. I've submitted a letter that they've signed that gives their consent. This has always been part of the plan. The owners of G2 Construction, their daughter is our business partner. So we've thought of, we read the regulations of freestanding. It shares no walls, it shares no ventilation, the smoke won't impact any neighboring business, and so we entered into this building with the intention of doing on-site from the very beginning. And G2 Construction, who is this office building above us, office space above us, they're fully aware and supportive of what's happening.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I understand the comments from the licensees, and I agree that the definition of freestanding could be improved by the legislature, but the board did discuss this in December of 2018 and agreed that a strip mall situation, which would have multiple businesses in one building, it does not meet the definition of freestanding. So, I think that the fact that the other occupants of this building don't object really can't be taken into consideration, because that's not what the regulations say. They don't say it's okay to have other occupants of the building as long as they don't object. It says that it has to be freestanding. So I think the issue for the board to determine is, what does the board determine freestanding to mean? And if it means that a building can contain multiple businesses, then I don't understand I don't understand what wouldn't qualify as freestanding. The smoke-free ordinance passed by the legislature basically says you can't smoke indoors, but it carved out an exception for this situation as approved by the board, for an on-site consumption as approved by the board in a freestanding situation. And it seems logical that the legislature was thinking, if there aren't going to be any other businesses in the building, then it would make sense. So that is what I thought the board discussed in 2018. So I think the question isn't really about, do the other occupants care? It's about, what does the board think that freestanding means?
Sure, can I comment on that? Okay. So, with all due respect, I understand the director's position, and I respect that position, but it isn't our job to determine what qualifies out in the world as a freestanding building. We believe that today we meet that definition. We wouldn't have submitted you an application if we thought otherwise. And, those regulations and statutes say nothing about sole occupancy at this time.
They don't. Freestanding means a building that is not supported by another structure, which we're not, does not share ventilation or internal airspace with an adjoining structure, which it does not, and smoke from the building cannot travel into the adjoining structure, which it does not. And I argue that does carve out freestanding. That would disqualify quite a few buildings, as evidenced by the fact that we're the only ones on this agenda. This freestanding requirement is quite prohibitive. It's the reason that very many businesses in Anchorage aren't even considering doing this at all.
There is a bigger issue at hand here, and I don't know if this is the time and place to get into that discussion, but perhaps it is. The regulations as they sit today are massively restrictive. How many applications have you guys received for on-site consumption? None? Are we the only ones?
Could be, I don't know, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we got any other on-site applications?
Yes.
We have.
Okay, that's great. Well, we're perfectly willing to be the guinea pigs. We did it the first time around in Anchorage, and so I assume that just people maybe they didn't make it to the finish line with all their documents or something close to that. But it's going to be difficult.
Okay. Well, let me, Ms. Milks, we are referencing here the Clean Air Statute, and in some respects, both the staff and the board are being asked to interpret the Clean Air Statutes. I guess my first question is, in administrative practice, is that fair to us? Are there other circumstances? Yeah, sure, there are plenty of circumstances where a regulatory body has to reference maybe OSHA regulations that they haven't written, and take those into consideration. But, do you see where I'm dancing here?
So if I understand your question is, well, you know that your job is to interpret your own statute.
Correct.
But you're asking me whether it is also your obligation to, in interpreting your statute, to interpret other statutes.
Correct.
I think in this case, the answer is yes.
And of course, it is statute. It is statute.
It is a statute.
So it does control, like, our statute.
It is a statute, but it relates directly to subject matter that you have authority to regulate. So if it exists as a carve-out where cannabis can be consumed in a freestanding building, then it is your obligation and your authority to interpret that statute.
And in fact, that's what it is. So I'll just say that I am inclined to interpret this fairly strictly. The building that you're in has 4 exterior walls.
Correct.
It has, what did you say, a second floor? Is that directly over your shop?
Correct.
And then on the first floor is also next to your shop. And that's what, a garage, you said?
Oh, no, there's no exterior shop on the first floor. We're the only thing.
No, interior. What's the first floor?
It's just us.
It's only you?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so that empty space, it belongs to the company, the construction company, but they're not using it?
Correct. It's the 2 stories, it's us, and then their office buildings above us, and then behind it is just where they store their construction equipment.
Yeah,
Garage.
okay. So, looking through this, I'm just going by what we've got on them. We don't have the smoking statute on our computers, do we?
I've got it open, what do you want to know?
Okay, well, I should have known. So, 1835, 301, I-1, a building, which it is, that is not supported by another structure, which it is, and that would, that says to me, strip mall.
Correct.
And that does not share ventilation or internal airspace with adjoining structure, which it appears to not, and smoke from the building cannot enter the adjoining structure. I mean, my strict reading of that is that the building you are in is freestanding. I guess my question is, maybe you can look it up, Ms. Milks. My question would be, does freestanding, how was I going to ask that now? I'll remember what I was going to ask, but can you read the preface to that, Lauren? Can you read the, H? What does H say? Where's the title of 301?
301 is a very broad section of just prohibition of smoking, and starts out in A, an individual may not smoke in an enclosed area in a public place, including an enclosed area at an entertainment venue, sports. Then it goes on, an individual may not smoke in an enclosed area in an office building, office, hotel, motel, common areas of apartment buildings, in a healthcare facility, vessels operating a shore-based fisheries business. Notwithstanding A and B of this section, unless the owner or operator prohibits, an individual may smoke at a retail tobacco or e-cigarette store, is in a building that is freestanding. It is not attached to another business or building, has a separate entrance, is separate from the other business or building in a manner that does not allow e-cigarette, vapor, or aerosol to travel into the other business. Then when it gets down to us, it just simply says, notwithstanding this section, an individual may smoke at a private club if the private club has been in continuous operation at the same location since 2017, but is not licensed to serve alcohol and is not a place of employment. And then nothing prohibits smoking in private residence. And then, food and drink may not be sold. And then when it gets down to us, it says, in an establishment licensed under AS 1738 that is freestanding, if the smoking is in accordance with the regulations adopted by the Marijuana Control Board created under AS 1738-080. And then I says, in this section, freestanding means a building that is not what you had read.
Right, thank you. There's the thank you there. So actually, you're not going to allow smoking inside your structure.
No, sir.
So I would, again, kind of conclude that given the assent of the local controlling authority, which is the county, and given the fact that the consumption, which I presume is going to be quite seasonal.
Very much so, I would assume as well.
Unless we get a lot of global
You never
warming.
know. I feel like, I mean, maybe tourists
Yeah.
might step out in -30 and
Yeah, there you go.
stand for 3
Yeah.
seconds and then come back in again.
But it's not even gonna be happening inside the building. You have no intention of allowing it in there.
No, sir.
So, okay, I'll think of, I thought I wanted a clarification on structure and freestanding. I don't think I necessarily need one now, so I will open up once again to the rest of the board.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Where is the air intake? So looking at the premises diagram, there's the area outlined in green, which is the licensed premises, and then there's the area outlined in blue, which is the unlicensed premises. Where's the air intake for the blue area?
There is no air intake, it's all radiant floor heating in the building.
So there's no change of air?
They have a pretty unique heating system there. They use old oil to heat the in-floor heating system. It's pretty cool. So there is no air intake. They have freestanding ACs that they use to cool it off.
There's no HRV.
Concrete floor heat.
Go ahead, Chair.
In the photograph, there's considerable windows up above. I don't know whether that's near or far from it looks like an air conditioning unit on one wall. Either those are cameras or those are soffit vents or something that are along the one wall, which certainly move air in and out. You're not going to have a structure that's completely sealed without some air exchange. In-floor radiant heat is heating, but that doesn't move air around. Heating systems generally don't move air around if they're baseboard, they're hot water anyway. You have other mechanisms. Looking at most of that, there are upper windows for what they consider to be the office. And I take a different approach in that, freestanding is, this is the only business in that particular building. I think, we've had some discussion, about that, and I understand that, this is a single building. I understand that but it has multiple occupants that are not the same business. We had some discussion about that related to, one of the marijuana businesses here that was next to a distillery, how much entrance that was just because of the issues of around 2 licensed premises of different sorts. That was okayed, so I would tend to more, lean that this would not be the strict definition of a, freestanding building. And, they're leasing this space, so it's not even theirs. They're not leasing the upstairs. I assume they have a lease for the outside. So anyway, I would tend to go on the other side of this one.
Just to address that, as far as the open windows and the people in the office upstairs, that's why we have chosen not to have on-site all day long, if they are up there and bothered by any smells or anything like that, it doesn't open until they leave for the day. And we've made that consideration just so that we can, you know, have a harmonious business building and everybody can get along. There's maybe 3 or 4 people that work upstairs. It's a very calm,
And
quiet.
I certainly, Mr. Chair, I certainly understand that, but given that explanation is, for me, supporting the fact that it's not a single business, it's not freestanding. You're making accommodation for the other people that are using that building. You are making accommodations, which are appropriate, and I appreciate that.
And just
But
to be
by
fair,
making that accommodation, you are supporting my contention that you're not a
Well,
standalone.
the definition of a freestanding building says nothing about sole occupancy.
I understand.
I mean, we worked through this application and did all this exactly according to the regulations as written. And as the regulations are written, there's nothing about sole occupancy, there's nothing about anything that we're discussing right now. So it seems a little bit unfair to hold me to a standard that I was unaware was even a standard. It's a freestanding building and it meets the definition of freestanding.
Would you interpret this to say that smoking will be allowed in the non-licensed portion?
No.
So, to me, what the definition means is that your licensed portion is a building, and the blue portion is a building. And so one building is supported by the other building, because it's not saying that smoking is allowed in this whole building. So that, I think, is how we arrive at this is not freestanding, because the portion that the G2 construction is in supports the portion that the Fairbanks cut is in.
That's a pretty wild interpretation.
Well, what isn't a freestanding building, then? Tell me what's not a freestanding building,
That's not my job
under
to do that.
your interpretation.
It's not my, the onus is not on me to prove to you what is not a freestanding building.
I believe that he's correct. I mean,
Well-
administration, administration staff have their understanding and definition that you base the memorandum on. They're coming to us, as every applicant does, in, good faith and doing due diligence and trying to ensure that their application meets the regulations and the statutes to the best of their ability, and then it's up to us to decide which is right. So I think it's kind of unfair to, ask neither one of you attorneys, are you?
But Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
Chair, and that's exactly what we're doing. I think the applicant has every right to request this. The applicant has every right to their interpretation of statute, since this is a statute, not a regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And, statutes can be changed, and interpretations are generally made either by administrative bodies and then finalized if it's taken to court if somebody feels we erred either way.
Sure.
If we were to allow this, and I don't know who would have standing to complain about it, to get an interpretation by the courts. Certainly, if we said no, then the applicant certainly has their right to appeal.
I mean, just to be fair, if the state is allowing on-site consumption and the people would like for on-site consumption, this is a freestanding building in the middle of an empty field in the middle of Fairbanks. And so if this doesn't qualify, it's hard to imagine a building that will. I mean, it's so remote. We have hardly any foot traffic.
Yeah.
There's nothing around us. We're just talking about having a little smoke porch outside of our retail store. And so, anyway.
I'm just trying to think, you were trying to say something a little earlier there. If you got any questions or comments, please go
No,
ahead.
Mr. Jones actually said everything I was going to say. I do appreciate the fact that you put a lot of thought into this and everything else, but I have to agree with Mr. Jones. Freestanding, there's a business from G2's right above you. You asked for an example of what would be your building without G2. That would be completely freestanding in my interpretation.
Well,
There, Mr. Miller.
this is a tough one. I do believe it meets the definition of a freestanding building, and the fact that the smoking area is outside, makes all the difference, in my opinion, on how I'm going to vote for this license. If it was on the inside, I would have a definite opinion. You know, and I'm going to lean to the, I guess my strict interpretation of a freestanding building. Unfortunately, as things go, not all statutes and regulations are written as well as we'd like, but I believe this building does meet that requirement. And the fact that the smoking area is outside, makes a huge difference to me. You know, if I was standing outside that building, I could smoke a cigarette. So, that's, I guess, my opinion and where I'm landing on this.
Thanks, Mr. Miller. So I think what I was thinking about on freestanding is, okay, let's say a strip mall, a retail rental area, which is common real estate in Alaska. It has 4 walls, but each segment is connected by not necessarily structural walls. Your store is in one structure. Granted, it is not for a unique use. However, it, in my view, it's physically freestanding, and on top of that, the activity that you would like an endorsement for is going to be taking place outside of the building. So, I have a feeling that, if nothing else, your application and how it shakes out is going to make a significant contribution to the definitional process over the next while. But I'm going to be supporting this application.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
A comment to Mr. Miller, and you are correct, you could walk out that building and you could smoke a cigarette. That is the case all around the state. But as we just did with a case of on-site consumption in public, marijuana is treated differently in the statute. You cannot smoke in public, but you can smoke tobacco in public. But I would remind you that if you were at this building, you could smoke a cigarette outside as long as you were 20 feet away from a door, you were 20 feet away from any open window, you were 20 feet away from any air intake, all of which you would have to try to decide as you walk out the door straight up. There are restrictions all the way around, and some are very onerous, depending on your point of view. So, there is a different standard for marijuana than tobacco, and that's codified in almost everything we do and everything the state has done related to smoking tobacco. So.
Okay, is there any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, would you
Yes,
like to see if there's any comments from the public on the phone?
Yeah, sure.
Shoot, I just hit the wrong thing.
Hang up.
I don't know. I don't think so.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Okay, this is the Marijuana Control Board, and we are looking for comments from anybody who might be a neighbor of or having objection to license 18187's on-site consumption endorsement. And we want to hear from people who have standing, people either in Fairbanks or who live near there, have a particular interest in this action.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
this is Rhonda Marcy. I'm actually in Wasilla, but I was tab 20, and I'm unsure why we started at 24 if I missed my call yesterday, but I wanted to weigh in as an instructor.
Are you calling about tab 20?
Well, I'd like to know the status of it, but I'm calling.
We approved it. We approved it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, as a person who's worked in this field and worked to establish this market in Alaska, my vote would be to pass the license that you've been discussing.
Okay, thank you. All right, anybody else that wants to address this? Okay, is there anybody
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
here that's got would like to comment on this license application, on this endorsement application? Okay, not seeing any.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I had a couple other questions.
Go right ahead.
If we're gonna vote on the overall motion, I'd like to ask some other questions to get at least get on the record at some point. Part of your process, as you described in here, was that if a person came in and purchased product that was not for on-site consumption, but also purchased for on-site consumption, that they would leave the building, put their product they had purchased not for on-site consumption in their vehicle, and then could come back in with that product and go out. So a couple questions. One is, are you contemplating needing to increase any camera coverage outside? If the person's in the back, hidden by a fence, and somebody's out front taking their product that they stored in their car, are you gonna have some security for that? That, to me, that was a question that I had. Also sort of controlling you don't get a lot of foot traffic, but I mean, assume there are times when you might be busier than others, and in terms of all that traffic coming, taking product out, coming back in with product to go, and to assure that they didn't go to their car, take their product, get somebody else's product, and come in and smoke it.
Right.
I had some real concerns about that process.
We have very distinctive package, and the intention is that it's a very small amount that you're bringing into on-site consumption. And so our package for 1 gram and a half gram is a very tiny child-proof container. It's plastic. It's very distinctive. It's got our own labels and logos on it. That's the only product that we will allow people to open and consume in the on-site consumption area. The intention of letting people bring whatever they buy, if they're buying more, out to their car, is just so, you're welcome to leave it with the bud tender as well, but just so that it doesn't go out into the on-site consumption area. But in the on-site consumption area, we will have staff monitoring. Yes, there is already a camera on that side, but we'll put more intensive cameras that actually zoom in on what's on down there. Anyone who opens a container that's not our container is going to be asked to leave. And then the containers that we're talking about, again, are very small, and so anything that was larger or abnormal looking they'd be asked to leave.
Yeah, in anticipation of, a good result here today, we sent up extra new TVs about the size of those pictures over there. Those will display all of our camera feeds. We're going to have a dedicated screen just for the camera feeds outside and going to and from the consumption area. So the managers, there will be dedicated staff there, but the managers in the back and at the door can actually watch as well. So more sets of eyes is always a good thing.
Any other questions? Got a decent record here, which somehow I get a feeling is going to be looked at. All right, are we ready to vote? Yes, we may be. So in the matter of license 18187 on-site consumption endorsement for Banks LLC, moved by Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Jaime, for approval. Mr. Jones?
No.
Mr. Jaime?
No.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I am a yes, so that's a tie vote. It fails. I'm sure you're aware what your options are from here.
I'm not.
Oh, you're not? Well, Would the director or the,
Sure. I will send you a formal letter of board action that states the reasons why the board denied your application. You'll have the opportunity to request an informal conference with either the board or myself. Optional informal conference, you will also have the opportunity to request a formal hearing before an administrative law judge in the Office of Administrative Hearings. Should you choose to appeal in that manner, it would go to a hearing before an administrative law judge who would then make a recommended decision, which would come back to the board for final adoption. Assuming we reach that point, should the final decision of the board not be satisfactory to you, you would have the opportunity to appeal to Superior Court.
So I start that process with you?
Yes. So next week, I will get you a letter.
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Okay, brings us to previous board action taken, the application of previous meetings, license 10254 Alaska Sense LLC. Request to extend abeyance.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, in tabs 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32 are all requests to extend abeyance timeframes. Tabs 26 and 27, the protests have been lifted, so they no longer need an extension to their abeyance period.
Okay, so we strike those off the agenda?
Yes.
All right.
Considering that since the other tabs were approved, the regulations have changed, which no longer require the board to deny an application in the case of a protest, but it allows you for conditional protests to approve with delegation. And I believe these were all conditional protests, that none of them were issues that were sort of deal killers. It was all just they haven't finished their local process. I would offer that the board may wish to consider in one motion for the remaining tabs other than 26 and 27, change your actions to approve with delegation. The delegation would be the lifting of the protest.
Okay, these have all been previously,
They've been previously denied with an abeyance period.
in abeyance.
But the regulations have changed, so you are no longer required to deny applications where there has been a protest. If it's a conditional protest, you can approve with delegation, and having the lift of the protest becomes part of the delegation.
Okay, how does that sound? Jones, that makes sense?
It makes sense, I guess. I'm trying to figure out exactly what our options are, given that the motions that are on the table was the motion 9 and put in abeyance.
Yeah.
So what would be our motion?
Yeah, well,
As opposed to extending the abeyance, which we had already done under the previous rules, which is the easiest thing to do, because we could sort of do that en masse and move on. Or it would be to know that as we get to further on in here where there are protests from Anchorage, then we wouldn't have to deny and we could move forward. I guess my option would be to continue with this process of what we had done under the previous regulations, because that's easiest to do today.
Okay, that's another option. You could take these all in one motion and extend the abeyance by, 6 months or something like that.
By whatever is specific to your memo. September 1 is was most of them.
It just seems that making them come back in September to get another extension should it be needed is not really a good use of anybody's time, including the board's.
Ms. Wilson, how many of these are your clients?
All of them, except for 26 and 27. And it's all the same issue with the exception of Pineco, which is a fire marshal issue.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? What would work for your clients?
I liked Erica's idea, just because it gives her the delegation, her the authority for us to work with her on that. I think it would be a lot more efficient, but 6 months too is fine. So either one, no opinion.
Well, next thing you know, we're gonna have the consent agenda.
Maybe you will. Wouldn't that be nice?
Not necessarily. Okay, so then the motion for this would be these have all been denied with abeyance and delegation, right? No, we can't deny with delegation.
No. So, I think if I might, Mr. Chair, I think we'd individually have to go in here
Yeah, we've got to unravel
and
these.
rescind our denial, do a motion for approval with delegation.
Yep.
And I guess that is a relatively simple
Yes.
motion to make, but I think it's one that we would have to do individually, per our other comments from our attorney about having a recorded vote on each
Yes.
individual one.
I agree.
So with that in mind, I would move that the Marijuana Control Board move to approve the license for Alaska Sense LLC retail marijuana store with delegation, license number 1025.
For a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Miller. Any discussion? To approve 10254 Alaska Sense with delegation and advance, or do we?
No.
Just delegation.
Just delegation.
Okay. All right, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so that one passes.
Which other ones are yours since you're here?
All of them except for 26 and 27, and so those are not.
And they're already taken off.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, Fourth Ave Cannabis Company.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I would move that the Marijuana Control Board approve license for Fourth Avenue Cannabis Company. Still doing business is barely legal, which is a problem.
No, it's not doing business as
Okay.
very legal. It's doing business as Fourth Ave Cannabis Company.
Okay.
The licensee is fairly.
Retail
Yeah.
store license 17053 with
Is there
delegation.
a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Miller. Any discussion? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Okay.
Chair, I would move the Marijuana Control Board, approve license for Kind Company, standard marijuana cultivation facility, license number 17409 with delegation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go.
So the next page, 31, 32 are yours as well?
30 through 32, yes.
Okay. Chair, I would move that the Marijuana Control Board approve license for Full City Cannabis Retail Marijuana Store, license number 18702 with delegation.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Miller, second. Any discussion? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes. There you go with that one.
Mr. Chair, I would move that the Marijuana Control Board approve the license for Tundra Farms, standard marijuana cultivation facility, license number 18704 with delegation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Miller. Any discussion? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
Thank you.
And tab 32.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we, the Marijuana Control Board, approve the license for Tundra Farms, marijuana product manufacturing facility, license number 18706 with delegation.
A second.
Second.
Mr. Miller, any discussion? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go.
Thank you.
Boy, now we can do a bunch of them in 5 minutes or less. Okay, which brings us up to tabled. Yes, sir.
I got a couple of things that I...
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry, that I need to do. Can we take 5?
Yes, we may.
Thanks. Lawyers want signatures.
I gotta go do a few things myself.
There you go, yeah. We deserve it. We deserve a break today.
The chairperson has disconnected. The conference will now end. Welcome to the GCI Conference Center. Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign. Thank you. Please stand by. If you are the chairperson, press the star key now. You will now be placed into conference. There are 17 participants in the conference.
So, really, you can, in fact, let me, so, we're on the, okay, very good, thank you. We're back on the record. Mr. Mills, just, quickly, can you, for the benefit particularly of Mr. Heine, in the matter of our ability to be very free range in our questions, particularly of applicants, we have that authority, that responsibility. We can, I just don't want her to be too shy, and I just want to, let her know that we can, I mean, our questions have changed a little bit over the years for applicants, asking them stuff like, what's your experience in marijuana industry? All legitimate questions, in fact, probably for the board talking to a licensee, there's no such thing as a... Is that really accurate?
I was looking for Dairy Queen, but it's inside.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Question. You can't ask things that are facially unconstitutional.
Oh, of course.
Of course not, but ultimately your job is to do what you do in the best interest of the public. So if there's something about an application that you think implicates public health or safety or welfare, or the applicant's record following the regulations, absolutely you can ask it. There's no formula.
Yeah, and it's just, again, you can, don't have to ask a single question, but just to let you know that we speak up anytime.
Well, and Mr. Chair, if I may, I'll just add one more caveat. Understand that every single thing you say goes on the record. And at such time as any of these applications come before an administrative law judge or a superior court judge, what we all say on the record will be the administrative record.
I think you left that out of your PowerPoint. Okay, thank you. Okay, this brings us to tabled items. 88 Double Happiness, license 10074. Are they present or represented?
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Good morning. It's the Marijuana Control Board, and we are taking up reconsideration of the denial of license 10074, 88 Double Happiness. Mr. Subanabong or Mr. Amodio, are you on the line with us? Double Happiness. Okay, I don't hear them out there. We just.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Up to that point, or what do you?
I expected, actually, he had indicated he was going here in Fairbanks,
Yeah,
so.
okay. Well, if he comes through the door, then we'll take it back up again. All right, which is also kind of our custom, cut people on time. Okay, Tip Top. Anybody here from Tip Top? Okay, come on down. This is license 14359, new license application. Thank you for joining us. Come on up and get some room there. Or you're good, huh? You look like a racer.
Oh, when I was younger.
Can we get a motion? This is a new license application that has been on the agenda a couple of times. Get a motion on 14359.
Motion to approve Tip Top LLC, license number 14359, a retail marijuana store.
With delegation.
With delegation.
Okay, there's a second? Okay, Assembly Mr. Miller. Good morning. Go ahead and introduce yourself, or Mr. Jones, I'm sorry. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, Nick Coltman here on behalf of Tip Top LLC.
Okay. And you're the licensee, is that?
Correct, yeah.
All right. And now isn't there another Tip Top?
Top Hat.
Yeah, oh, Top Hat, I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah, not affiliated.
Okay, I see signs around town I don't recognize. Okay, so what do you got in mind here?
Opening up a retail shop. We've got a building on Fifth Avenue. We've gone through the process with the municipality and had approval from them. Our architect is pretty much done with the drawings, so we're gonna take those back to the muni and like to start construction as soon as possible.
Okay, so, you knew about the meetings in February and May.
I did a quick trip to China that was time-consuming and unexpected, and it took all my time. I apologize for not being here.
Sure, yeah, okay, all right. Okay, so it's Fifth Avenue, which end of Fifth Avenue?
So right where Cordova is, remember Action Locksmith used to be on that corner, kind of backside of Office Depot?
Okay,
right
next to the north face.
Nope, further
across the
down.
street or something from it?
Nope, further out, yeah.
Okay. All right, so what's your experience in the marijuana retail business?
Well, we haven't owned a retail facility before, but we do have a building that is licensed, and I help that licensee a bit with the process going through. I also have a lot of experience. I ran the Anchorage Press newspaper for years and years, and have followed the industry and all the legalization issues in my capacity there.
Who's the other licensee in there?
The other person on the license?
Yeah, well, you said you're in a licensed building already.
No, I said I've got another license.
Oh, you've got another license. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I don't have that license, a tenant does.
Okay, all right, I got you. Okay, so you're leasing to somebody who's got a license.
Correct.
Okay. All right. All right, so you know business.
Yep. Yeah, we've run business in Anchorage for 30+ years.
So that end of town there, you do have a lot of foot traffic in there.
Yeah, correct.
I get fixed parking, it's on the street parking there, huh?
Yeah, city parking, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And like downtown, a little further in, parking can be a problem. But for us, in our other business we ran there, people could just drive right up.
Is there anybody else is it a freestanding building?
It is a freestanding building.
Got any plans to think about on-site consumption? I didn't notice we checked the box.
So there's 2 apartments upstairs above the building, which you guys allow, the state allows having residential and retail combined.
Right.
The city of Anchorage actually doesn't. It requires 1 caretaker apartment, which is against Title 21 because they actually want more mixed use. So I pointed that out to the municipality, and they're actually going to allow us to keep both apartments upstairs. But that's going to kind of preclude us from doing on-site consumption because we don't really have a space to put it.
For some reason, it seems like it was a forefront issue, and I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, and not the edibles, because I really don't think that's going to work. I mean, people aren't going to eat a cookie and then stare at each other for 45 minutes saying, do you feel it? So.
Yeah, I know they're saying 30 minutes. Okay, so it's a pretty big building. How much of it is going to be the main room here? Is it just going to be you have dance hall in there? Right?
Yeah, you could. We're actually wanting to put some educational materials in there with an Alaska focus, like on raisin and the history of marijuana in Alaska. And I don't know if you guys need to approve anything like that. It's one of the questions I had. But
no.
Yeah, we think it would be interesting for people, especially tourists coming in, give them something to look at and give them a reason to come down to the shop.
Okay. Any questions for that then?
All right. No, I just have a question. I wasn't present during the past meetings. On December 11th of 2018, it says local government protesting.
Yeah, I think that's an automatic process, right? When the license, when AMCO considers it complete, then it goes to the municipality, and then they automatically protest it because we haven't even submitted to them yet. So that's just a course of action they always take, and then it's lifted after we go through our process with the muni, which we already did in front of the assembly.
And the word that we do have to pay attention to is objection.
And through the chair, Lieutenant Jaime, the memo that you're referring to was the memo from the February board meeting, and since that time, the protest has been lifted, as was stated.
Okay, any other questions? All right, not hearing any in the for approval, license 14359 Tip Top LLC, Mr. Jones.
With delegation.
Yeah, with delegation.
Yes.
Mr. Hyman.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go.
Thanks very much, appreciate it.
Arctic Delights. Get somebody on the phone. Okay.
Stan Wilson,
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Brian Stewart, the licensee is on the phone. So these are just, products we ran out of time last time, so we just kind of tabled these, ready for production at all.
Okay, is there a motion on, new products for license 17316 delegation?
Motion to approve new products for Arctic Delights, license 17316. We're going to approve these in batches, I assume.
I don't have my spreadsheet in our packet.
It is in your packet. I apologize. I didn't print it for you this time.
No.
They're all listed as edible, even though one is called a tincture.
Yeah, I think we can, there's all of that. And a little education here. So is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Jones. Okay, so, Mr. Thorpe, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good morning. Here, why don't you just, really quick run down your product line here for you. You got brownies, what else you got?
Brian, do you want me to,
Yeah, if you would, go ahead, Jen.
Arctic Delight brownies, that's just the typical little brownie, infused 5 milligrams per serving. Mylar bag, heat sealed, individually wrapped and placed into the Mylar bag, that's opaque. And the second product is, Arctic Delight's chocolate chip cookie bites. They're just small cookies, small little cookie bites. Again, 5 milligrams per cookie, 50 milligrams per actual package. Wrapped the same way, individually wrapped and put into an opaque bag that's child-proof as in heat sealed. Arctic Delight's signature meltaways. This is like a little truffle, but in a rare shape. And again, 5 milligrams per serving. Couple different sizes here per package. You know, 5 milligram packages, 5 milligram units, and that would be 25 per package. And then if you wanted to do 10, that'd be 50 milligrams per package. Arctic Pot Rocks. So this is actually a homemade way to make candy that has it's a little carbonated when you put it in your mouth. And this would be single servings only. And so one tube would be 5 milligrams of THC, and we're not proposing to do more than one serving per unit in this, or sell these in multiple units, just because it's a new product and wanted to see how it went.
Yes, go ahead.
Can I ask a question on
Yes.
this product in particular? And there's a couple other products that later on that are very similar, not similar to this, but that's the same kind of question. Basically, you know, this is little small chips. How do you propose getting an adequate testing when, you know, if you're serving as a teaspoon, and you produced, 5 gallons of this in a process, how are you going to get adequate testing to know that every teaspoon has 5 milligrams? I mean, we've had issues of how does things get dispersed in product, and how does the concentrate go through a liquid, and is it even? A brownie, I can understand, you pick it up, you have some idea, but something like this where, you have, but maybe, 35 or 40 little pieces of something that
it's a great question. If I may, it's going to take some testing. It's a new product. It's something that hasn't been tried before. So it will take some tests, some trial, to try to figure out what's a good way to dispense it so we get it correct.
Okay, maybe this is a question for the director. We've had some discussion about test and retest. So this wouldn't fall under that. If he manufactured a small bit, tried to figure, and sent some stuff off the testing to figure that out, or that wouldn't fall under the test, retest kind of thing while he's trying to figure it out. I mean, that's what I get. I mean, I understand what he wants to do. And I understand that he's going to have to play around with this to figure out if his manufacturing process is going to distribute the THC equally so that he can actually put this up for retail. But at the same time, he is manufacturing something under our license and probably testing under testing that's our license. I want to make sure that that doesn't fall under some of the test-retest issues that we've had before as well, because he has had the ability to kind of figure out his process to make it work.
Yeah, through the chair, Mr. Jones, that's actually a good point, and it does butt up against that problem. We are trying to address that problem in two ways. One, through one of the regulations projects that is actually on the agenda that was temporarily passed over yesterday, and also through working with Metric to try to develop sort of, so right now, anytime that you send a sample of marijuana or marijuana product to testing, the testing result gets identified in Metric as the test for that thing, whatever it was, and then if you send another test, it replaces the first test, and it is considered a retest. And right now, if the first one passes, you're not really authorized to do it again. And so we're trying to work with Metric to develop some sort of R&D test where it won't necessarily register as the official test of that product. So we're kind of trying to hit that in two ways because it is an issue right now.
Yeah, that's helpful. I think there's another product later on, a granola and a 3 tablespoons, 5 milligrams. I have the same question, how are you going to test the distribution equally? Is it going to absorb better in the raisin than it is the flake or whatever? But so this is a helpful discussion, and hopefully
well, it's helpful to us too, because I was having the same kind of thought process, like this is going to take some time for Brian to figure out, and so I'm happy to hear that there's some progress on that, and so that's good.
Okay.
My initial thoughts, if I may, were if it failed, I'd have to start over again and not a retest. And I'm glad to hear that there's some work being done for these reasons.
So, somewhere out there, bongos, somebody's made these before.
Correct, in Colorado and Oregon. And this is not a licensed product, though. In fact,
out there?
It is. They make it out there, but this product is not the intellectual property is not being licensed in any of those.
Sure. No,
so
my question was going to be, somebody's got a test kitchen, some of the stuff, which is perfectly legal. What's the belief that you're going to make it? You can do it on a baking sheet, right?
Yeah, Brian's actually never made it before yet. He was waiting until he actually. It's true. He was waiting until the actual. You're going to talk to the director about the R&D process.
Okay. Well, this stuff's going to be made with soda, which is also up for approval. So, and what's the index? Tincture on here? Yeah, tincture's on here. So let's do, how about a motion for the simple syrup and the tincture?
We already have a motion product.
We do that.
I don't have any problem. I just want to.
So the tincture, the simple syrup are your in-house products.
Yes.
Everything else is made with butter?
Most of it is made with the tincture
or the simple syrup. Yeah, those will be the main ingredients.
Have a So one of the things, is fired on colorfulness of product. Alaska probably has the ugliest candy edibles of any state in the union, which we're very proud of. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Actually, this one here would make a good little lapel pin.
Well, if you notice, there's a note that says the colors will be muted.
Yes, saw that. And we also require when they get their first production run, photos of product.
Yes, we send those to a person and they take it and they copy it and so the intent of that is that if these items show up in schools, it's easier for enforcement to identify what license these are.
Battery out!
We've got edible. Oh, you mean coconut?
Yeah, I meant so. I didn't mean butter. I meant coconut.
Well, you've already got butter approved. Ryan, do you have butters approved product?
No, I think it's only coconut.
No, I'm sorry, I'm having a really hard time hearing anything.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Let me get a little closer to the microphone here. Brian, do you already have butter as an approved product?
We might have.
No, the only thing that we approved last time was concentrates. We didn't. All the food was on, so it's just the simple syrup and the ink, I believe.
Oh, all right. It's not here too. All right. Everybody has a spreadsheet.
Oh, it's in the.
Oh, it is in here. I apologize.
In the file.
Yeah, so we have coconut oil infused and cannabis butter in the packet.
All right. I saw butter. Okay. All right. Is any other questions about any of these products? We have a motion to approve 11 products for Arctic Lights license 17316. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Imey? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Imey, yes. So, there you go. Those products.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was wondering if I could ask through the chair, Erica, one question. Erica, do you recall, and I think this is the case, since that this license was approved, or actually not approved because of the conditional protest from Anchorage, would this be an appropriate time to maybe rescind that denial with the abeyance period?
I don't think it would because that isn't really an agenda item,
Okay,
so there hasn't been.
Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, this brings us to license 19624 Studio 420.
That's 36.
Yes, draft 36, thank you. Okay, and this is municipal protest, and this is for approval of the application. Do we have a motion on license 19624? I am not hearing a motion on license 19624, so be taking it up. Thank you. Very quick.
This was tabled from the last meeting. And basically it was tabled because the applicants weren't there.
Right.
Okay?
Operating going now.
All right.
Mr. Chair.
Sure.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
The board certainly has the authority not to make a motion and not to consider this item. However, that is basically a denial of this license application, and in order to properly move forward with potential appeal steps, I think the board needs to put their reasoning on the record. So I would encourage the board to make a motion and a vote in order to both provide the applicants with the board's reasons and to provide me with the board's reasons so that I can move forward with the appropriate process to provide the applicant with their appeal rights.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to go into executive session to meet with counsel. It shouldn't be a very long meeting, but just a few minutes if we could, please.
Motion to go into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jaime. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Okay, so we're gonna go executive session, just a few minutes to meet with Ms. Mills.
Okay.
Thank you. I guess
The chairperson has disconnected. The conference will now end. Welcome to the GCI Conference Center. Please enter your access code followed by... Thank you. Please stand by. If you are the chairperson, press the star key now. Your conference will begin when the chairperson arrives. Please wait. You will now be placed into conference. There are 21 participants in the conference.
Aye. Aye. Okay, I'll just state for the record that, as we said before, we went into executive session to get some advice from counsel, which is allowable under the administrative procedure. And we received that, and we're back out. So, I think we're moving on to tab 37, Cosmic Seaweed.
Okay, so what's, I guess I'm kind of confused as to what's our next step, or why we're not being heard.
There is a public official in a public body is under no compunction or obligation to make a motion on any matter that they don't want to make a motion on.
Okay. So that means that we're denied, or what does that mean?
It means that your application wasn't heard by the board.
Okay, so what's our next, I guess?
I'd say you could probably take that up with the director.
Okay. For like appeal or something?
I will send you correspondence regarding your appeal rights.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, license 19728 Cosmic Seaweed. We have a motion for license 19728, it's a new product.
Motion to approve Cosmic Seaweed, license number 19728, products tabled in the last meeting. Let me get to the products table. Cannabis oil.
Yeah, second.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Morning, you can introduce yourself to us. No,
You don't have to
this is Fairbanks, you don't have to push buttons.
So I just wanted to make, you guys aware that we...
Hey, go ahead and introduce yourselves again.
Chris Long, Cosmic Seaweed.
I'm CB Corey, Cosmic Seaweed.
So we have also some simple products on tab 68 that I didn't know if you guys would be interested. It might be time, better for time to just get those out of the way as well.
It's some packaging and some basic stuff that you've already seen.
Saw-brain plant change.
Yeah.
Some lotions, some pre-roll joints, and stuff like that.
Okay, how many are on there?
Four.
What's your brothers, gentlemen?
That would be fine with me.
Okay. All right, we'll do this one, and we'll jump over to 60. Okay, so this is
Cannabis oil.
Cannabis oil.
This is gonna be for sale, right? This is wholesale? Wholesale. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was tabled last time due to some additives we had in it, so we just pure cannabis oil now.
Okay. Thank you. All right, any questions on this product?
Pretty straightforward. We're not reinventing the wheel.
All right, then we'll take a vote. Mr. Jones? Yes. Mr. Jaime? Yes. Miller?
Yes.
Jaime, yes, so that's that, and then we'll just have 68.
Chair, I would make a motion that we approve the new products for Cosmic Seaweed, being cannabis oil for vaporization cartridges, Cosmic Special Pre-Roll, Cosmic Wax, and Tropical Cream.
Second?
Second.
Okay, you've probably heard us, we get pretty picky about ingredient descriptions.
For sure, yeah.
So your vape content is cannabis oil and possibly an inert ingredient. That's what it says.
We have not added that inert ingredient yet. We're going all cannabis oil.
Straight cannabis.
Yeah, straight cannabis oil.
Okay, then I'd say, we didn't say with delegation, but both of these are with delegation. So delegation on this one would certainly be to correct the ingredients verbiage. All right, cannabis oil.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
The other question I had on this is, on the topical cream. I know the title is topical cream, it's listed as a topical I didn't see any reference on the labels to, not for consumption. I would suggest that that get put on there.
Yes.
I looked at the ingredients and it didn't look to me like there was anything that was probably not edible. Well, it wouldn't taste very good.
It probably would not taste good.
But, I think, part of the delegation should be that the label needs to say, you know, not for eating, not for
Agreed.
ingestion, topical
Agreed.
use only, something. That was the only comment I had on the products.
Okay, so you got a pre-roll in there. And are you making that yourselves from?
We are, yeah.
From leaf up?
Yep.
Side up?
Yep.
Okay. And
So we're not reinventing the wheel there either.
well, there's been some anecdotal discussion
Yeah,
about
right.
packaging by a grower and then
Right.
delivery.
Yep.
Okay. Guys using the plastic bottles.
Well, we want to get away from and.
Yeah, I just like the
We want to
presentation.
go with the cardboard, but right now, it's like, you have to, you know, labeling, all that.
And let's. Okay. All right, any questions about any of these products? Okay, and who made the motion on that?
I did.
Okay, you seconded it. Okay, and these are both delegations. So, okay, for 19728, tab 68, the products on there. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Okay, as they say in the place that's supposed to be the capital.
It is the capital.
Yep, it is the capital, yes it is. Okay, we could inform Mr. Roy is on the phone.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Happiness? Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Vanabon. Got that right,
Yes,
right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here. Good morning.
All right, good morning.
If
So,
you,
go ahead, Rick.
if you aren't Mr. Sufanavong, would you please mute your phone?
And, is your counsel present with you or on the phone, Mr. Vanabon? Just, you know?
Nope, I'm by myself.
Okay. So, this is a reconsideration of license denial. Tabled reconsideration of the denial.
Thank you.
So, is there a motion to reconsider,
Mr. Chair?
renewal, wasn't it? Yes.
I believe this started out, because this applicant was approved at some point and over time has not moved forward.
Correct.
And so we effectively denied the license. If we made a motion to reconsider one motion, but I think, we have the written material, but I think if we're gonna discuss it at all, we have to have that motion.
Yeah, we have a motion,
So I guess I would move that the board reconsider its denial of license number 10074.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So, Mr. Savannah, yeah, we approved this.
Yeah, because it's a reconsideration motion, we have to vote.
Oh,
Then
that's
we
right,
have to
we're
have
gonna
a
vote
motion to approve and
Yep.
for
Thank
discussion.
you, you're absolutely correct. Okay, on the motion to reconsider, license 1007488 Double Happiness, and this is just a precursor motion. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes on reconsideration. Now, do we have a motion
Chair, I would move that the board approve 88 Double Happiness LLC, license for 10074. And I will, be recommending a no vote to the motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, move to second. Okay, well, let's go to the director first. Because you asked him some questions, we do have an answer there. But Director, you got any comments to make on this application?
Mr. Chair, everything, that I know is in the memo.
All right. Okay, Mr. Savannah Fong, go ahead and, it's your opportunity to address the board.
All right, thank you, MCO board. Thank you for your reconsideration. So, Director Erica has been informative with me. I understand the situation. The reality is I'm on a holding pattern. But, so I guess the question is, since we're in the municipality of Anchorage, it really, at the end, does rest with the municipal approval. Couldn't a license like mine be dormant until it get resurrected by the muni as I go through this next step? Because it really does depend on the city ultimately to finalize the occupation of a facility.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. And I guess that was going to be one of my questions, and I was hoping maybe you would answer it. The reason that we ultimately denied the license and we're reconsidering is that the license was out for at least a couple of years, and you were not moving forward with either the municipality. Your current business was still in that building, and you had no definitive plans to move out of that building. And then you just stated that you're in a holding pattern. Well, if you're in a holding pattern waiting approval from the municipality of Anchorage, that's different than a holding pattern to make the business decision about whether you're going to replace your existing business with the marijuana business. So, if you're telling me now that you're ready to move ahead and you're going to empty your building and start the process with the municipality, that might be a little different, but I'm confused because you said you're in a holding pattern, and I assume that holding pattern was still because your existing business, you were still operating.
Through the chair, Mr.
Correct.
Jones, the municipality lifted its protest of this license on December 13th, 2016.
So are you still waiting to make a decision about moving your existing business out and moving this business in? You're still contemplating whether or not that's a good business decision on your part?
Correct.
Okay. And for that reason, I will vote against the license.
And I understand. Yes, I understand your question. Thank you.
Before we move ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Van Vong, this is the chairman. I remember when you got your license, we were over in the courthouse annex in Anchorage, and
Correct.
You gave us the impression that you were ready to go. You're going to move that microgreens operation and start growing cannabis. So you've had that license for quite a while. You actually have had permission from the municipality to go into business, and I don't know whether it's just that microgreens are more lucrative for you than macro greens, but it's just a little hard to understand. I would think that somebody coming to apply for a license would have made their business decisions already and be ready to pull the triggers. You're a savvy businessman. Now, I want to suggest that there's no inherent value to the license that you don't have yet, because you haven't been inspected.
Yes.
You just have a number, and so, I mean, what are you looking at for a timeline right now? Or are you just, you're just dormant? You said, well, can we leave the license dormant?
Correct. Yes, I think the term is dormant, but the other way looking at it is I'm aiming at a target. I'm trying to find a target. I'm not, I need to pull the trigger, but I don't know which one I'm shooting for. So,
okay. Now, as a general rule, we have licensees that have been pending inspection. We have licensees that have been in delegation status for 6 months, for a year. They get on the line with us, and they're very upfront. They go, well, we're waiting for the last piece of sheet metal for the roof to get delivered, or we're ready to finally break ground for the foundation, but once we get that going, we're going. And people are able to give us almost uniformly a timeline, and then we'll come back and talk to you again. Now, that's one of the reasons that we effectively denied this license, was because none of that is there. I mean, it's getting one of these licenses, having that number is not of any investment value. It's of decision-making value, and it might be valuable in finding an investor, but otherwise it's not transferable or saleable. It's not an asset. So,
correct.
I don't think, and I hope you'll agree, that by denying your license without any sort of prejudice and giving you the opportunity to come back in the future to reapply, we're not creating any impact, and that's not a consideration for us. But speaking to you, you're a businessman. You know what I'm saying here. I hope you're not viewing that license again as any sort of an intangible or a capital asset for you.
No, I'm not. May I ask this consideration then? If I get, what's today? It's June, July, August, September, sometime before the middle of September, and allow me to have a conversation with the director, and then following that conversation, she can decide whether it's the termination or reconsideration. Is that okay?
I don't think we delegate to that degree.
But you might ask her how she does.
I don't think we delegate to that degree. No, like I said, if it looks like it's going to be worth it for you,
that's what I'm trying to do.
We don't vote to, and I'm disinclined to vote for, approving this license. We do not do that. That doesn't stop you from coming right back and applying again.
Okay.
I know I'm going to do it. Okay. This again, having this license doesn't put you in any sort of competitive advantage in the industry.
Right. I was just thinking of the time frame.
Sure. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. So the motion is to approve license 1007488 Double Happiness. Mr. Jones?
No.
Mr. Heine?
No.
Mr. Miller?
No.
And I am a no, so thanks, Mrs. Vanafong, and hopefully we'll hear from you again.
Right, thank you.
All right.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Tab 38.
Yep, Danny's Place, tab 38.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Okay, good morning. On Control Board, we're looking for Mr. Pritchard, Danny's Place. Are you with us? Donald Pritchard?
Yes! Donald Pritchard is here.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Do we have a motion on license 19877 Danny's Place, limited cultivation?
Mr. Chair, I would move that the board approve license 19877 Danny's Place, limited marijuana cultivation, with delegation and Kenai Peninsula Borough conditions.
Okay, there's a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Miller. Okay, Mr. Pritchard, good morning. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
Okay. Introduce yourself, sweetie. I am Ron Pritchard. I've been doing this for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years.
Your way.
You know, and legally I've been doing it just, you know, a small load because that's all I can do.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm doing pretty good, and I'm having a good time with it.
Huh?
I'm hoping you guys will let me do that so I can have fun with it.
Okay, so you've only got 12 plants growing right now, and you do not have to answer that question. Okay, so you got...
I don't have...
Mr. Pritchard, okay. So this is a separate building from your house?
Yes, it is.
And who's this we're hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Justine Pritchard. I'm his wife. My husband has brain cancer.
Oh, okay. Hi, Ms. Pritchard. Okay,
So
that's very good.
I'm kind of helping him answer the questions for you guys.
Okay, are you on the license? It's just kind of on the
No,
license.
but I do have power of attorney to talk for
That's
him.
just fine. That's just fine, man. That's just fine. Thank you. Okay. So this is your own property?
Yep.
Alright. So what do you, okay, and so I'm trying to find, is there a photo of the location? I see the floor plan. Okay, there we go. So this is, okay, so this is a separate standalone building, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Is your house nearby? Is your residence near here?
No, it's about, probably about 10 minutes away.
All right. And just going to be you and your husband running it? You be working with them, or?
Yes, I will be.
You got a handler's card yet?
Yes, I do.
And your husband does, I'm guessing?
Yes, he does.
Okay. What sort of product line you guys interested in producing?
We just plan just to grow, just to sell the weed. We haven't no plans for concentrates or nothing like that.
Oh,
right now.
no. I'm just wondering
Oh.
what you're growing for. Are you growing for, you know, I mean, you're gonna sell it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, are you gonna be like boutique in it? You're gonna have a couple of, you know, real nice strains, or what do you got? What do you got in mind there? Probably already got some pretty nice strains, I would guess.
Yeah, I have a few strains growing, and I was just planning just to grow for the store.
For which store?
Well, I've been talking to High Bush, but and I have them lined up.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good deal. Okay, we don't have any objections or. Here, how are you doing with the borough? You're a small cultivate, so there's no issues there.
Yeah, we're good with the borough, fire marshal, everything.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the applicants? Okay. Not hearing any questions on license 19877, Danny's Place, limited cultivation. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Heine. Yes. Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So there you go. Good luck.
Thank you very much, sir.
You bet. Okay.
Thank you.
Pending status. Let me get us through lunch.
Hey. Stop.
All right. Is anybody? Let me just name these out. See if anybody's here. Naked Herbalist, Alaska Cannabis Outfitters,
Here.
Okay, you're on the phone. Okay, good. I'm seeing everybody's here in the room. Turning in Horticulture, or Alaska 11. Turnigan? No, Alaska 11. Okay, since you're here, why don't you come on up and we'll, you first, and, then we'll get everybody else on the phone. Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Go ahead, introduce yourselves to us.
Good morning, again,
We know who you are.
I'm Denise Stevens, I'm one of the licensees of Alaska Lemonade.
Okay, so, you got your license in November, what's going, in 2018, what's going on?
Well, we've been working through the processes. We hired an electrical and mechanical engineer. We're putting in three-phase stuff. They're actually the engineers and electricians are there right now installing all that.
So what's your timeline looking like?
I'd like to say no later than the end of the year. I think we like to be up and going by October, but I'll pad it a couple months.
Okay, we might give you a call in November.
Yes.
All right, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who's Turnigans out there?
Naked Herbalist is here, but I'm trying to get my husband on the phone.
You're first on the list. Go ahead, Ms. Rance. What's up?
I would rather have my husband do the call, but,
Sorry, I couldn't hear my phone.
All right.
Okay.
Hi, good morning. So you've been in pending inspection for over 6 months, get your license in January of 2017. So how are things going?
Our facility is about halfway completed. We didn't start any construction until the facility's done. Everything we've done is out of pocket, and I've done all the work. So sometimes it goes slow, but we've always made forward progress.
Okay, and so you're halfway there, and we don't have the application in front of us. What are you building, a separate building, were you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
I'm shooting to have everything completed and the inspection done before snow falls, because winter's rough.
Okay, so we should be able to hear something in November, at the November meeting.
Yes, sir.
Ripley.
All right. Okay, we'll follow up with you at the November meeting. All right, thank you. Okay, Alaskan Cannabis Outfitters, Great White Bear, Homer, got the line.
William Bear, Great White Bear, Alaskan Cannabis Outfit.
Good morning. So retail, get your license in November 2017. How are things going?
We're right on the raggedy edge here. I'm shooting for, I want to say 1 month, but my delays have been, so a lot of them have been out of my control. Anyway, long, sad story short here, I'm requesting September 1st.
You're planning on requesting inspection on September 1st?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then, I guess we'll check up on you in November. We'll have been told at the November meeting how things are going.
September meeting.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, we can hear about it in September. Yep. Okay, so we'll look to hear from staff, what's going on in September. Are you putting up a new structure?
Yes, we built a new building, and all of that's done. We're just finishing up a few items, and we've got to hook up with Metric. We have our cards. We're ready to go, except for the electronics, mostly.
All right, that sounds real good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Green Elephant Juneau?
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
By yourself?
Richard Dudas, Green Elephant.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Dudas. What's going on?
We got credentialed yesterday, and tags are ordered, so we should have an inspection scheduled within the next week.
Okay, sounds real good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Turnigan Horticulture.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So, this is the same licensee that has another license type at this location. See what license type is on this, and got evicted by their landlord and are in, litigation.
Okay, all right, okay.
But they should come tell the board that themselves.
Because circumstances. And Alaska loving it. I'm sorry. You said you're gonna be done pretty quick, right? Okay. Okay, that brings us to licenses and delegated status for approximately 1 year. Brown Owl?
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, so I think that, I mean, at some point, the board needs to do something about turning in horticulture, so maybe we'll address it when we have a hearing on that issue.
Yeah, he's got some legal issues, and that'll probably have its own avenue. I mean, have we got notification? Did we get some legal paperwork that he was evicted? Did we do?
They are
did they
in
get
litigation.
completed? Did we seize over there?
Yes.
Okay, we had a hearing on that, didn't we?
It's been postponed twice at the request of the applicant.
Okay, yeah, all right, okay. Yeah, so we'll just depend on that. Because, yeah, there's a bigger circle of stuff there. Okay, Brown Owl Cultivation from Fairbanks. Are you here? Are you on the phone? No sign of them. Okay, Glacier Bay Farms in Haines. Are you on the line? Is the phone on?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. Is this Glacier Bay?
Yes, this is Carol Waldo.
Good morning. So, yeah, you got your license just in April of 2018. You've got the fire marshal approval yet?
We're working with the fire marshal. Our biggest problem has been trying to get, electrician. We had somebody lined up, of course, and then the earthquake happened in Anchorage, and that sort of ended that plan. But we just got in two bids this week, and one more is pending. But in the meantime, we've installed the siding, fiber optics for that, and we're working on the security fence to go around both buildings, plus drainage, and we've got the approval from the engineer on the wastewater. So we're moving along on it. It just seems like it's taken longer than we thought it would.
Sure,
but it's two very large buildings, 28 by 80 each one.
All right, so would we be able to hear something in September from you?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll be ready for inspection by probably around the 1st of October.
Okay, well, you know, we'll give you a call. So we'll put you on the agenda for September, and hopefully you'll be telling us that you're just, ready to put up a welcome mat.
Yeah, we're trying to do this right, and so it's taken a little bit longer. We didn't have a building. We started from ground up, so it's going to be nice when it's done.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, well, good luck. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Turning Herb, we're worry about that right now. Simple House from Wasilla.
That's Turning and Herb's a different...
Oh, I'm sorry. Turning and Herb and Turnigan Horticulture. I apologize. Turning and Herb, are you out there? Turning and Herb Company, Alaska Provisions Corporation. Are you on the line?
It's the same address, so it might be two corresponding...
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, one's a retail, and Turning and Horticulture is the cultivate.
And I would just note, they have been asked to come talk to the board and for the second meeting in a row, have not shown up.
We have the seizures is in our warehouse, huh?
Yes, so.
How's that air handler working? Okay, all right. Simple House.
Dan Wellstein, attorney for Simple House. I don't know if Dane or Mark is on the phone. I told him I could handle this. It's just the fire marshal. They provided some corrections to the fire marshal. I think they're just kind of working out those last little fire marshal speaks. That's the thing that's pending.
So, and that's all they're waiting on.
Yeah, this is the fire marshal.
Oh, this is a limited cultivation?
Yes.
Everything else is done?
Everything else is done. It's just fire marshal's got a big queue right now, and...
Well, I've heard.
Yeah, they had some... Man, Lloyd from the fire marshal department explained it to me once.
Yeah, it's the earthquake.
It's that, and then I think they also lost... yeah, it's just they have a big backup there. They've got a big...
Okay, all right, cool. So, you'll be in know.
Yeah.
Gas Frontier Joint Operations LLC in Kentucky. You on the line? Last Frontier Joint Operations? got approved in May of 2018. They've been waiting on DEC approval. We heard anything from them?
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, they're a no-show, put them on September. The Last Kind LLC in Fairbanks. Is The Last Kind on the line? Let's see what they are. They're waiting for fire marshal also. Going once, going twice. Okay, we'll put them on September unless they pop in before we adjourn tomorrow. Denali Herb Company in Wasilla. Are you on the line, Denali Herb Company?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good morning. Go ahead and tell us who you are.
Greg Stegan in Wasilla.
Okay, good morning. So you get the fire marshal yet?
Yes, sir.
You do have the fire marshal approval?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So you just got to let you out the snow, and what are you? You're a cultivate or retail?
Yes.
Cultivate. Standard or limited?
Limited.
Limited. Okay. All right. So you're like ready, just about ready for inspection then, are you?
Yes and no. I mean, the building is 3/4, but the fire marshal already gave us. We already have the approval from the fire marshal.
Okay. Well, you said that was all that was pending was the fire marshal. That I don't know what you said last time we talked to you. Okay. So you're still under construction?
Yeah.
What's your timeline?
Just a money flow slowed us down a little bit.
All right. Okay. So what are you thinking about a timeline? We gonna be able to talk to you in September and hear about some progress?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Okay. All right. Sounds good. We'll talk to you in September then.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Director, this is Simple House. I missed my tab.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Your learned counsel covered you.
I got it, Mark. We're good.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Okay. AK Cultivations in Wasilla. Charles Campbell, Justin Backer. Hello, AK Cultivations. Okay. Sign them. High Flower on King in Anchorage. King Street Ventures. Okay.
Don't need to push anything.
Janet Waldstein, attorney for High Flower on King. So this situation, actually, we won't be moving forward with this project. The building is owned by a Canadian group, and because of Trump's comments, yes, the project can't go forward.
So are you withdrawing the license?
Yes.
You're gonna surrender the license. Okay.
We're gonna all three.
All right.
Thank you.
So that's those there. Okay. Puffin AK in Anchorage. We just need to put a chair up there for you.
Janet Waldstein, attorney for Puffin AK. My client, Anna, she just had a baby, and that was part of one of the reasons why I've been advocating for a breastfeeding place. She needs more time for these licenses, so we would just ask to come back and give you an update. September probably won't be a lot of progress. Baby's pretty little still.
So how other than having the baby, which was of course in the business plan, how are things coming on the construction and stuff?
It's good. The building's already built. It's her dad's building, so it's an existing building. So it's a small warehouse and a little storefront in front. So that's built. Nothing's been built out because we haven't submitted the special land use permit, so we haven't pulled the building permit.
Oh, okay. So you're waiting on the land use permit. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so this is gonna be a while.
Okay. It's been approved in June, so. All right. We'll maybe you'll have baby pictures for us in September. All right. Which brings us to license conversions. Are we going too fast? Should we break for lunch for an hour and a half?
Oh.
Okay, you with Alaska Greenery?
Yes,
Okay.
Janet Waldstein, attorney for Alaska Greenery, and I believe
Hold
Michael
up.
is on the line.
Okay, that's fine. Hold up. Let me wake my computer up again, and these are action items. So Ron Robin.
And so maybe just for Officer Henry's information, this is a new action. This would be changing the license from a standard cultivation, which is an unlimited growth, down to a limited.
Oh. Okay, do we have a motion to convert license 10043 from a standard marijuana cultivation to a limited marijuana cultivation?
No motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Wilson.
That's about it. They just weren't using more than 500 square feet, so, and their business model is working with 500 square feet, so they figured why not just be limited then?
Is there any, so there's no MJ14 or anything on this?
There is, not. No, we're not changing the current layout, because there wasn't a need to.
Okay. Otherwise, you're doing okay.
Yeah, they're doing great under this model, and so why not just pay that fee?
All right. Mr. Chair?
Yes, right.
Question of staff. I guess we had always assumed that, or at least I had always assumed it'd probably be going up, not down. Therefore, there would be another inspection because you would look at the expanded space. Given that this was approved as a standard and now going down, is another inspection called for to make sure that they're within the 500 feet? If in fact they had at some point had enough space to be bigger, how do we assure that they went down and their space stays at 500 if they're an existing license without a second inspection per se? Just a question.
Yeah, through the chair, Mr. Jones, in general, I consult with Chief Holscher as to whether he feels an inspection is necessary. If there was, and generally they re-inspect every year at renewal anyway, so it's quite likely that they would be planning to do an inspection for this license. But if the initial inspection showed that they were under 500 square feet, even if it wasn't required to be under 500 square feet, then there may not be a huge concern that that anything has changed, but likely there will be, because again, we do renewal inspections around this time of year anyway, there'll likely be another inspection.
And I understand that they said in the paperwork that this is how they've been operating.
Yeah.
But if in the future we would have somebody that say was operating at 1,000 square feet, now they wanted to go to 500, I assume that would require an inspection with some decision about what happened to the other 400 feet of product.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, all right, thanks.
He's at 436 as it is, so.
Correct.
Probably just applied.
Save money.
Well, you always change it to save money, yeah, on the application, but.
Oh, originally, yeah.
Yeah, okay, no, that's good. And something like this is, I like it when we see a limited cultivation is doing well, because that's indicative of how, the small industry is still kind of an anchor for the rest of it. He's had no problem paying his taxes and everything else.
I think he's on the phone. He had a late payment on accident. I can't remember what it was. He mailed it late or something like that, and had the dollar.
He's operating in a business-like fashion.
Correct.
Okay, all right. What's his name again? Oh.
Michael.
Michael, you on there?
Yes, I am. Michael Lilliadol, owner of Alaskan Greenery.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Anything to add to what we've been saying here?
No, not really. Just kind of mention a little bit more. In the very beginning, I think we were the 8th cultivation to be given a license in the state. And in the very beginning, the definition of grow space wasn't very clear, and so we kind of thought it meant the entire building we were operating out of, not necessarily what we use to grow plants. So that's why we went with a standard license in the beginning, to mitigate any kind of confusion in that aspect. So now that it has been defined, and we definitely fit the mold better for limited than standard.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, then on license 10043, Alaskan Greenery, converting from a standard to a limited cultivation. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Heine?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, all right, now we get some new applications. Quintessence Farms.
Okay.
Did I say that right?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I know that, Nick and Luke and Ben are probably, at least 1 to 3 of them are on the phone, but, I represent Jack Ventures LLC, doing business as Quintessence Farms, which is a standard cultivation in Anchorage, proposed standard cultivation.
All right, there a motion on, license 20984 Quintessence Farms.
Motion to approve license 20984, a standard cultivation with delegation.
Second. Second by Mr. Jones. Okay, are, Jack Ventures online?
Yes.
Okay. Speak a little closer to the microphone. But go ahead, Ms. Wilson, go ahead and introduce your clients.
Sure. So, Jack Ventures LLC, there's also a co-located retail in this facility that you approved last meeting that's owned by the same 3 members of Jack Ventures, but it's owned in a C corporation instead. And so, as you can see, it's laid out pretty modest-sized cultivation. It's near Costco, on Diamond, and, or right off of Diamond, and yeah, so just, already getting going.
We are on the phone, not sure why we weren't coming through before.
No, we heard you, we heard you.
Okay, good.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves if you like.
Nicholas Gelinas, owner of Quintessence Farms.
And Benjamin English, owner.
Okay, so your retail is running?
No.
Not yet.
No. That got approved last week.
Oh, by the last meeting, okay.
Right, and so we had our community meetings, about 2 weeks ago, and we'll be submitting a special land use permit when I return to Anchorage.
So you're on our delegated list for 2 months?
For the retail, yes. For 2 months.
Okay, so this is a standard cultivation. Any questions for the applicants?
Just one comment.
Sure.
On MJ01, page 2 of 11, section 3.1, the first sentence, I'd have you take a look at what's in parentheses. It says you will ask for ID with the exception of AMCO, MCB, and AMCO enforcement. You wouldn't ask for ID. I don't think you mean that.
No, I do mean that. That's part of what we've been told from licensing, that they're not technically visitors, that they're...
No, I understand that, but I mean...
There needs to be proof that they're enforcement.
You gotta be proof that they're AMCO or the board.
Badges, you would want them
Okay,
to...
well, I think I'll have a little conversation with Jane about that, because I think we go back and forth on that, and then it's kind of a...
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like me might come knocking on the door and saying, oh, you got examples?
I think that the point of that is making sure that
It is
we
kind of a
understand-
goofily written sentence.
Yeah.
I think it should just say that, government issued ID will be required, including law enforcement and MCB, because a badge is, police, if a cop comes to the
Most of the
door.
way people have written it is, we will log this in, and anybody that wants to visit has to have an appointment except for...
Yeah.
And then, but enforcement's not gonna show up and not show you an ID.
They always have their ID. I mean, they have it on them, like, showing.
But somebody could try to impersonate me, but they would be unsuccessful.
Don't give me any ideas.
You have to let Sharon.
Just give me last week.
Well, you understand the point of that, that we understand that
No,
they're not
I
visitors.
understand, it's just not written precisely enough.
Okay, well, we'll...
Now, one question
For
that,
attorney speak.
yeah, one question that I haven't asked for a while, especially in the large cultivation, is do you have any intentions to allow visitors? I've asked this over the last couple of years, not for a while. You guys got a standard cultivation, you got retail there. Do you have any thoughts or intention to go into canna tourism? Just saying, oh yeah.
No, not at all. No.
Okay, all right. I just haven't asked that question for a while.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, and let's see, I know we approved the businesses, so you guys are all, you're all businessmen and...
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got experience, commercial
Well,
cultivation, and we're ready to go.
Okay, and you know about growing marijuana?
Yeah, Nick actually used to work
Absolutely.
for Alaska licensed cultivation facility.
Very good. Any other questions for this license? And, we, like what Mr. Jones has commented, recently, last couple of meetings, we are getting much better applications. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, license 20984, Quintessence Farms, standard cultivation for approval. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Brings us to license 21086, Nugs LLC.
Thank you, Janet Waldstein, attorney for Nugs LLC.
David Smith. All right, let's get a motion here for this license.
Motion to approve Nugs LLC, license number 21086, with delegation.
Second?
Second.
No, let's get, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Dave Smith with
I think we've seen you before.
Yes.
Yeah, last meeting. All right. Okay.
Trying again.
Yeah, okay. What happened at the last
The
meeting?
last one, remember, was the issue with the landlord without town, was we couldn't make the date, and failed to complete date to get the lease revised accordingly. So we, in anticipation that would fail, we initiated the new license and ran it through.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so there's no staff issues in this application?
Not that I saw, I don't know if Erica had anything.
It's, standard memo.
And their appearance before the planning commission for their conditional use permit is scheduled at the end of August.
Okay. Okay, do you have a retail?
No.
Okay, so you're
Just strictly interested in cultivation.
all right, okay. All right. And you're you're a businessman?
Yes,
Yeah.
my 25 years.
Yeah. And you're gonna be bringing in a master grower, or you already got a
Myself,
little green right there?
yeah,
Fun.
I've been involved in the industry for many years. And go to the other side.
Good. Reminds me of the time we had a couple of guys from Fairbanks in here, and Pete Malardick says, well, you can, how's your filtration system? You can smell cultivation from, 300 yards away, and they said, oh, we've never had any complaints yet. Me and Bruce and Brandon are going like this, and Pete's like, you better not have.
Well, personal grows are legal, and that's all the experience that we have.
I know. Okay, very good. Okay, so the only issue last time was on the lease.
Yeah, it was just the ability to get a hold of the landlord.
Okay, good. Is the market in Juneau's not saturated yet?
It's getting there, but, we've got all
3
the
cruise
assets.
ships a day.
5.
So what, anecdotally, what have you been seeing are the cruise ships really the big demanders that industry in Juneau and Southeast has said they're gonna be?
Actually, yeah. I mean, the problem we're having right now is that, there's no place for them to go.
Right.
That's why right now, on-site is up on the agenda and everything, and hopefully something happens in that way. Because, now, people are literally telling them, well, just go step into the bushes.
Yeah, but the demand for product is moving through the retails down in Juneau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, you got a legislature there stressing everybody out. So,
No comment.
Okay, all right. Good. Any other questions for Mr. Smith? Okay, then on license 21086, Nugs LLC, for approval with delegation. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Jaime, yes. So there you go. Thank you. Good luck.
thank you.
All right, what time is it? Yeah. Stonewall Cultivation.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Is there a motion for license 17548 Stonewall Cultivation?
Motion to approve license number 17548 Stonewall Cultivation with delegation.
Second. Second. By Mr. Jones. Good morning. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us what you're all about.
Good morning. My name is John Jager, Stonewall Cultivation. I'm a greenhouse manager and just hoping to go ahead and explore this industry.
What kind of greenhouse you've been managing?
Mostly bedding plants, trees, shrubs, perennials, that sort of thing. Risky out on Chena Hot Springs.
Okay. A little smoky up there, Murphy Dome Road right now?
Rather smoky, yes.
Good though, on the other side of the fire line?
Yep, all safe. We got a nice fuel break between us and the fire.
You ever grown marijuana before?
Yes, on a personal level.
Okay. It's LLC, it's LLC, but you're the only owner, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And it's on your residence?
It's a garage attached to the house.
Okay, you got any kids?
We got one on the way, actually.
Okay, we're not worried about them running around for a while. Okay, although, is your wife gonna be working with you in there?
Don't have any plans for it currently.
Okay, all right, because that plays to talking about earlier, potential accommodations for. Okay, so the garage is already in place?
Yes, sir.
Did any of the trim out the inside yet? Or?
I've already done some walls inside and went ahead and took down the bay doors.
Okay, and what do you got in mind for product line? What are you gonna be growing for? Audience gonna be?
I know a lot of older consumers up here, people who've been smoking this for decades, and there's a lot of hybrids on the market that are very popular now, but a lot of these old school heads want little throwbacks. So if we can find something that'll have some decent flowering times and produce for us in a commercial environment, I'd like to kind of get some of those old flavors back out there.
Okay. Cool. Great. You got background in, you got a degree in horticulture or something, or just?
No, I grew up in an ag community and, just been growing since I got up here, and it's just something I love.
Yeah. Good. Good, we like young farmers, no matter what they're growing. Okay, any questions for the applicant? All right, not hearing any, then for license 17548 Stonewall Cultivation for approval with delegation. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
All right, thank you, sir.
Congratulations on the soon-to-be baby.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Talkeetna Traditions. Turn the phone on, please.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Marijuana Control Board looking for Talkeetna Traditions, limited cultivation.
This is Talkeetna Traditions.
Good morning. We'll get a motion here and then we'll start off. License 17816 Talkeetna Traditions LLC limited cultivation. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve license 17816 Talkeetna Traditions.
There's a second.
With delegation.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Yeah, it's still morning. Good morning, ma'am. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us what you got in mind.
Yes, this is Judy and Greg Ryder, looking to get our limited approved today.
Okay. Limited cultivate and this is what, part of your house?
No, this is, we have a 30 by 72 foot high tunnel.
Okay.
We actually have two of them. And we've been farming for many years, Sunshine Farm and Garden. We have a large peony field also, so we've been in the farming business for quite a while.
Okay. All right, so this is just gonna be a high tunnel.
Correct. Eventually, we would like to, this will just be summertime for now, but eventually we would like to include the garage so that we can grow in the winter also.
The second high tunnel is outside of your restricted area. Now,
Yes.
Okay, so the licensed premises, I get a Connex in here also, right? And what's
Correct.
that blue lines? Is that a fence, or what is that there? That makes that L? You got high tunnel 2 sitting out.
The fence line is in the orange, and the Connex will just be used for drying, packaging, and office area.
Okay, hang on a second. You have an L-shaped fence there, a backward L-shaped fence surrounding high tunnel 1 and the Connex? Is that what I'm looking at?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And then egress window, that's in the Connex.
Correct.
Okay. How high is your fence?
6 foot.
Oh, 6-foot fence. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, 6-foot fence. Okay. And the high tunnels, it's an opaque high tunnel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All righty. Any questions for the applicant?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had a couple. You talked about access to the property was a locked chain across the driveway entrance.
Yes, that would be at the end of our driveway. Our driveway is 1/8 of a mile long from the highway.
Right.
We're on 40 acres. We're right in the middle of our 40 acres, right here where the high tunnel is.
Yes, but you also indicate you have a curtain over the garage. So does your renter have an access? Do you have a rented?
I'm sorry, but that we've got interference. I can't hear you.
Hey, if you're not telling the traditions, please mute your phone. We hear somebody's car door dinging or seatbelt dinging. Please, folks, mute your phone. Thank you. Okay, so the question was, do you have a renter in the apartment over your garage?
No.
And the garage is the garage on the other side of the fence, or is the garage part of the fence?
It's on the other side of the fence.
Okay, is there, Lauren?
Yeah.
Okay. How's the peony business? They had high hopes for it.
Yeah. Well, they sure were beautiful this year, but it started early and ended early, so we're about done.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Thank you. On diagram number 2, you have small green squares as your cultivation area. What do those small green squares represent, and how large are they?
They're 5 by 5 square foot, and they represent. We're just going to put one plant, possibly smaller ones or one large one in each one to spread it out to give us more room around for the sun to come in. Instead of just pushing it all together, and at the very end of the high tunnel, we wanted to spread it out. So each one will be just 5 by 5 square foot to keep it under the 500 square foot limited requirement.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I would just recommend that be noted on the diagram as part of the delegation.
Yes, absolutely. That'll be part of the delegation. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Any more questions? All right. Hearing none on license 17816, Talkeetna Traditions for approval with delegation. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes, there you go. Let's see if we can do Cannabore. Cannabore here. Is Cannabore LLC on the line?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. This is Lance Wells, attorney on behalf of Mr. Patrick Owens, Cannabore LLC, and Mr. Owens is with us as well, sir.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Wells. Folks, if you're not Cannabore or Mr. Wells, please mute your telephone. There's some raucous laughter in the background. Okay, we have a motion for license 18928 Cannabore LLC, limited cultivation with delegation.
Motion to approve license 18928 Cannabore LLC with delegation.
Okay, Mr. is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, so go ahead, Mr. Wells and, gentleman from Canterbury, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Thank you. Mr. Owens, go ahead and introduce yourself to the board, please, sir.
Absolutely. My name is Patrick Owens. I go by John. Let's see, how are you guys doing today?
Oh, we're doing just fine.
Great.
So,
Great.
all right, you're in Willow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you say it's you and your... Okay, you're the licensee.
Yes.
So, okay. All right, well, tell us what you got in mind.
Oh, yes, I'm just, putting a grow in the garage and, the 500 square feet.
Okay, and you're leasing the garage to your LLC?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got some, just keeping in mind the tax obligations that cannabis cultivators have. Do you got some business experience?
Yes, sir. I'll be hiring a CPA and a bookkeeper, but, I've owned a few businesses before.
Okay. All right. Who's going to be working with you in there? Just you yourself cultivating, or your wife going to be with you?
It's just myself.
Just yourself, okay. All right, so you got...
I think you broke up, Pat.
Okay.
No, we caught that. It's going to be yourself, Mr. Owens. Do you have some experience cultivating cannabis?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And what do you what sort of market are you looking at? What was that beep beep?
Not us.
You still there, Mr. Owens?
Oh, yes. We
okay, all right, okay.
disconnected there for a second. I apologize.
Oh, all right,
Could you please repeat the question, sir?
Go ahead. Yeah, he asked you if you have experience cultivating cannabis, and what was my other question going to be? Would be you doing it yourself? Oh, yeah. What market are you looking at for your product, for your cultivate?
Let's see. As far as what market I'm looking for, that would be, yes, anybody that would like to purchase it. That is
Well, I mean, is there any? Do you have any particular, strains in mind? Looking at, I'm presuming you say you've got some, you've been in business before. I trust you've done a little bit of market research, and maybe speaking to some of the retailers, some of the manufacturers. Do you have some thoughts on what you're going to be producing there for sale, and who might be interested in it?
I do. I've got trying to keep it to about 4 strains. But yes, there's tons of strains that I would like to run. Right now I've got it kind of narrowed down, looking at strawberry cough, white diesel, Girl Scout cookies.
Okay, so you're going to be going after a lot of the flower market.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on this license?
Just one question. I know you stated you were going to be just doing this on your own. I was concerned about the statement that you didn't have water and sanitation on premise, that it was in the residence, your house, which is attached to this grow. I would be concerned if you got to the point of having to have employees and having any of the hand washing and sanitation capacity is in your residence, which is not part of the facility. So I just caution you on that one. And since you are a grow operation, I assume you have water of some sorts, but,
Yes.
in particular, it's, on the MJ01 form, page 8 of 11, and one of the few applicants that has checked that you don't have, water and sanitation in the facility. So, that's just a caution. It's, just wanted you to be aware and get that on the record.
I understand that, yes.
Okay, just, so you've been, I'm guessing from your answers, you've been home growing for a while?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, any more questions? All right, then on, license 18928, Carnivore LLC, limited cultivation with delegation. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I guess I'll vote yes. All right, there you go. Let's go to lunch. See you guys at, 1 more.
The chairperson has disconnected. The conference will now end.